the technical difficulties, and I hope this shit doesn't keep up.
So good, it cut you off, you know?
Yeah, I know. And we were talking about the Iron Sheik. We were talking about his careers. We were talking about his feuds. Like, my favorite feud was the one with him and Sergeant Slaughter. And Nikolai are reunited in heaven. So, yeah, people, I mean...
Yeah.
Rest in
I mean, there was an interview with Hulk Hogan, and Hulk Hogan said that when he defeated the Iron Sheik is where Hulkamania began, and when the seeds planted, you know?
Everybody
so
else
probably if there was no Iron Sheik, there wouldn't be no Hulkamania.
Yeah, even the Iron Sheik said it. If there was no Iron Sheik, there would be no Hulkamania. And the Iron Sheik.
Because.
Yeah. The Iron Sheik. The Iron Sheik even went off on him the other day. There was a Howard Stern interview where he actually went off on Hogan. He said that Hogan never thanked him for putting him over, and if you see how he acts crazy in his interviews, they said that because he's super fit. They said that he was very unhappy with life because they said that it all started with his daughter getting into died in a car accident back in 2003, and they said he wasn't the same anymore.
Yeah. That really must have like affected him a lot. I mean, it was very evident when you watch it at WrestleMania 17 that it took him almost 10 to 15 minutes to walk out that big ramp, you know.
Yep.
You know.
That was one of my favorite parts of Royal Rumble, of WrestleMania 17, the gimmick battle royal. Watching all the old school guys come back to the WWF, and they were all part of WrestleMania. It was good to see history. It's always happening.
And it's good that it was like a good reunion, and I think the smart thing that JR and Paul Heyman did, that they let Mean Gene and Bobby Heenan broadcast that match, because I told people they had to broadcast it because that's the generation of that era.
Yes, it was.
Probably at that time, Heyman and JR were probably either teenagers or college boys at that era, so, you know, they at least gave him the honor to have Bobby Heenan and Mean Gene to broadcast that fight.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Well, they were in WCW, and they were in the 80s. Because remember Jim Ross was in the WCW in the 80s?
Yeah.
And Paul Heyman, he was in the 80s as well. He was actually a manager in the 80s. Remember that? Paul Heyman was a manager?
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
And he managed
he did manage The Undertaker, and then he managed the Head Shrinkers in the past. Remember when Rikishi was a head shrinker?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of history right there,
yes,
you know.
It was. Yep. So yeah, man, and I was gonna say that that was a great party. And Doink the Clown, the Tugboat, Earthquake, the Bushwhackers. Who else came out for that gimmick battle royal?
Kamala.
Who?
Kamala was there.
Kamala. Duke the Dumpster.
Which one else? Duke the Dumpster. I say that Triple H destroyed Duke the Dumpster because I remember there was a feud between Duke the Dumpster
and Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
And Hunter Helmsley, and in your house. And at that time, when Triple H Pettigrew defeated him, he cut his hair.
Oh yeah.
Because at that time, Duke the Dumpster, remember, he had long hair, and Triple H just definitely cut it off. And I don't know, he did destroy Duke the Dumpster, you know.
Well, I don't think that was his choice at the time. I think that was pretty much Vince's choice. And Duke.
Oh yeah, he would do what he was told.
Yeah, and Duke the Dumpster Drozy. That's a stupid gimmick. Garbage man gimmick.
Well, honestly, you don't be surprised, Miguel. That is a Vince McMahon creation.
Yeah,
giving, Duke the Dumpster thing gimmick for him, you know.
And Men on a Mission was actually a Vince McMahon creation. Mabel, Mo, and Oscar.
Yeah, well, don't be surprised that spilled milk is his creation.
That's going to be our tag team.
That's a Vince McMahon creation, everybody. Spilled milk, okay?
Spilled milk.
But, if you notice, Miguel, that at the gimmick battle royal, if you ever get your opportunity to watch it again just for, for the heck of it.
Yeah.
Half of those guys, rest in peace for all those participants in that battle royal, you know.
Earthquake is no longer with us. Who else is no longer with us in that battle?
Doink.
No,
Doink is no longer with us.
That wasn't Matt Bourne. That was actually the babyface Doink. That was Ray Apollo. Yeah. So he's still alive.
Yeah, that was
The heel Doink, Matt Osborne. He's the one. Matt Bourne. He's the one that died.
That passed away. Yeah.
He's the one that died.
Yeah, and Bushwhacker Butch is no longer there.
Yeah.
And Robert Kamala.
Bobby the Brain Heenan and Mean Gene are no longer here with us that were broadcasting that. I wish they brought back Jesse Ventura for that.
Oh yeah, that would have been a good reunion. Yeah.
And I would have heard, it's the Marching Morons.
Yeah, and then when Bobby Heenan told him, how would you like your son to be called the Goon? Remember when they brought the Goon, the hockey player?
Oh yeah, they did brought the Goon. How would you like your son to be the Goon?
Called the Goon.
The Goon. Good in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but when he got to the WWF, they gave him a stupid gimmick.
Yeah, the hockey player, the Goon.
Oh, please.
And then you saw Brother Love and Jim Cornette, you know?
Jim Cornette, Brother Love. Who else was in it?
And Hillbilly Jim.
Yeah.
Hillbilly Jim
was there. Yep.
Now, if you want to calculate, the Freebird, Mark Henry, has been trimmed off because he's got a Confederacy robe on that entrance.
Really? Oh yeah, Michael Hayes was in that gimmick battle royal, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had it in his cape with the Confederacy flag on it.
Oh wow. Let me see. WWE.
So if you see it, either they must have blurred it or just cut it off. But since I have the DVD, the Freebird's there, you know.
Oh, you know who else was there?
I remember when Bobby Heenan goes, there's the Freebird, the man that taught Michael Jackson how to do the moonwalk.
That was a good one. And did you ever... You know who else was in it? The Gobbledygooker.
Yeah, the mascot of WWE. Then Bobby Heenan would tell Gene, didn't you used to date her?
That's a good one.
Yeah, you used to date her. Yeah. And then Mean Gene goes, this is the Survivor Series eons ago when the Guggen Gobbler was born. And then he said eons ago. He didn't say 20 years.
And wasn't
I don't know. It was a good like a dinosaur promo that Mean Gene did right there, dude.
Yeah, but wasn't what's his name? The One Man Gang was in there, or Akeem? One of them.
The One Man Gang, Akeem, yeah.
Yeah, they were.
But he went there as the One Man Gang. He didn't go as Akeem.
Oh. Who else was there?
Well, honestly, you know, the One Man Gang is not a Vince McMahon creation. That's why they gave him Akeem. Because remember, the One Man Gang was used in NWA, and it was used in a lot of organizations. You know.
Yeah.
I was very surprised that they let them use it in WWF for a while. You know.
Yes, they did. And what else is new? Yeah, man. And wrestling is always fun. And yeah, I need to rewatch that Gimmick Battle Royal, see who was in it.
Yeah.
And Bruce Pritchard said that he should have won. He said it on his podcast. He said he should have won because it was in his hometown of Houston.
Yeah, because he was the mayor of Houston.
Yeah.
You know, for some of the smart marks that were in that WrestleMania, for them the gimmick battle royal was a bathroom break because they didn't know any of those gimmicks for the smart marks. So they definitely turned that battle royal for them like a bathroom break.
Yeah, I know, that's stupid. I didn't turn it to a bathroom break because there were some legends there. And there were some people.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I sat down and watch it.
Those characters played a big part of some of those characters played a big part of WrestleMania in the early years.
Yeah. So I don't know why the Smart Marks decided to consider themselves a bathroom break out of that match, even though if you didn't know them or not.
And the Iron Sheik had to win the match. And the Iron
Yeah, and this is still this is one of the things that still gets to me at WrestleMania, that the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, you're going to put it on the SmackDown from now on, and I'm sorry to say, but I don't agree with it. I'm way against it.
Yeah, I don't agree with it either. I mean, that should have been that's always should be a WrestleMania tradition.
Yeah. have to do? Oh, they just want to promote it. No, that's you giving away a match. Yeah. You're giving away a match right there.
And you know,
I think in general, don't be surprised that Bobby Lashley got so pissed off at that one.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Having a smack. Yeah.
Yeah. And
well, and then the battle royal is too beneath him. You know, yeah. It's predictable he was gonna win.
Yeah, and the battle royal should have the battle royal it should always take place at WrestleMania. And another reason why I say it should is because I want the talent to get a spot at WrestleMania. I want all the talent to get a spot at WrestleMania. Yeah. That's the whole reason why I like it.
Yeah, I don't need a SmackDown dude, you know. See, that's the thing that Brian doesn't agree with us. That he likes the Battle Royal in a SmackDown. It's like, how can you like it in the SmackDown? I go.
He said that?
Yeah. I go, you of all people, I would look up to you to know that the Under the Giant Battle Royal should be on a WrestleMania.
Yeah, I don't remember him saying that, but here's another. He says that promos do not play a part in storylines.
That's a weird one.
Definitely disagree with that.
Yeah, that's interesting for him to say that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because, you know, this WrestleMania that we have passed by, WrestleMania 39, the disappointment of this WrestleMania was that why did we have to use McAfee, Shane McMahon
during the match?
Yeah. To me, it took away from other matches that could have taken place. Why do I want to see a Shane McMahon versus Miz, or Snoop against Miz, or McAfee in the Miz? That was a waste. I don't give a shit what people tell me about that, but I totally disagree with that. You don't need to have a match with a co-host. really ridiculous, man.
Yeah, and here's another thing he said that I don't agree with him with. He says that WCW wrestlers shouldn't be inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame, and WWE owns their library, owns all their tapes, and basically owns them in every way, shape, or form.
In general, I do disagree with that, and honestly, they should be inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
For Vince,
Diamond Dallas.
And for Vince, it is suitable. For Vince, it's suitable because it's business and it moves his needle up. So, in a business point of view, of course, Vince is going to say, hell yeah.
Yeah.
But in general, reality speaking, they do deserve Hall of Fame because they did pay the way, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I definitely should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. And
now, any smart mark doesn't know who the Gambler was, he was a WCW Handsman talent. That's what the Gambler was. Rest in peace, the Gambler.
Yep. And the Gambler, well, like I said, I only seen 2 matches from him. I've seen one with him and Jericho, and I've seen one with him and Sting.
Yeah. So if you see a man with a bunch of poker cards, he was a gambler, you know.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of Gambit from the X-Men.
Yeah.
And what else? And what else do I want to get into? Well, go ahead.
What you want to say? Here's another question. Congratulations to Carmella and Alexa Bliss with their pregnancy, and one of the Iconics that they pronounced pregnancy. Hey, congratulations to them, man. So,
sir.
Sorry guys. Sorry, Smart Marks or Booty Me, any of those guys.
And sorry.
They're taken.
Yeah, sorry, you horny pricks. They're taken.
Yeah. So, that's a first thing to say. Congrats to them.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Is it a good idea to unify the women's tag team belts? Out of your part. What do you think about that?
Like they're trying to unify the NXT and the women's tag belts on the main roster?
Correct. I mean, the main roster belts, those are dead.
My guess is that the women's tag team division in NXT, they don't have enough women on that roster. Maybe that's why they're doing it.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're not bringing that back.
Because you know, Caitlyn Carter had a hell of a good match at Monday Night Raw against Shayna and Ronda. Those women really took it to Ronda and to Shayna.
Well, both Katie.
But you know they've been attacking.
Yeah, but
yeah.
And Katana Chance.
They've been attacking for what? Yeah.
Yeah, they're a good.
And Katana.
Katana Chance, yeah.
And they've been looking for a while. People don't get it. If you have not observed them, in NXT Black Gold, they are a good tag team. And honestly, I wish they were so close to win those belts.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't give a shit about any stupid fan that tells me right now I'm not invested in Shayna or Ronda Rousey. I'm not invested in them. They're freaking boring. They got dead titles. I don't know if they're going to be part of the budget cuts or something, or just Vince McMahon has had too much of a hard up on them.
I don't think Ronda's going to be part of the budget cuts. I don't think.
No, Vince likes her too much. He's the one that signed her in anyway.
And let me ask you this. Do you think that Cody Rhodes is going to dethrone Roman Reigns?
I would say the answer is no, and I wish it would be him to finish up his story. I feel like they're giving him other plans. If I'm correct, I probably wouldn't mind with this one. That they are probably handpicking to do Drew, and I don't know if they had a meeting with Drew McIntyre.
And I'm not. And remember, Vince McMahon is not really a fan of Cody.
Yeah.
So this is a tough.
My answer will be no. Yeah.
Like, they're not making plans, and he's gonna feud with Brock for Lord knows how long. And do you think this feud with Brock is gonna finish at SummerSlam?
That probably might continue.
Yeah, it probably might continue.
I think it'll be over for Brock. I don't think definitely Cody doesn't want anything to do with with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And here's another thing that I'm beginning to like. I hope Damian Priest gets out of the Judgment Day, because I'm seeing something good right there. Somebody is going to leave the Judgment.
WWE needs baby faces, so why not?
And Damian Priest can pull it off, and I think he's very over. Yeah. And I love the fact that the promo that Seth Rollins gave Finn Balor. See, I held this belt longer than you. And I'm sorry, Finn Balor. No offense. Oh, tranquilo. Speak your Spanish right, moron.
God, you moron. Don't speak Spanish ever again, Finn Balor.
Don't insult us, please.
Yeah, no. Both me and Jose are Hispanics. Please don't insult us.
Don't come up with the tranquilo.
Yeah.
Please. I don't bash your Ireland heritage, because I love Sheamus and the Brawling Brutes.
And Drew McIntyre. Well, Drew McIntyre is Scottish.
And Drew. Yeah. So, please, knock it off, Finn.
Yeah, I know.
I want the Bullet Club Finn or Demon King, but knock it off with your tranquilo, please.
Yeah. And Cody Rhodes.
But you know what?
Is not the right guy
I feel,
to beat Roman.
No, I don't think. I say the answer is no. That's not really going to happen. But if the rumors are correct about Drew, I say it has to be Drew, because WWE owes him, and second of all, WWE does not want to lose him to go to AEW or anywhere else.
Yeah.
They have to find a certain way to reconsider to keep Drew.
Yeah, and I would not be satisfied if my WrestleMania match, my WrestleMania victory, took place inside of an empty arena. I would not be satisfied with it.
Yeah, and I say, if fans agree or don't agree with it, they owe Drew. They owe him.
Absolutely.
So.
And I love Drew McIntyre. He's one of my favorites right now. That's why he's on my profile picture at this recording. He's my profile picture on my MTG Gaming YouTube page. I just love the guy.
I mean, he's my pick. He is my pick there. So.
Yep. And he's too
now
good
here's another
for the Intercontinental Champion. Don't put him in Intercontinental Champion matches or United States Champion matches.
He's too good for that.
Yeah, he's too good.
He's too good for that. And do you think that Walter will break the record of the Honky Tonk Man in September? Because I feel like they are pushing him to be the longest Intercontinental Champion.
Possibly, but I don't think his Intercontinental title run. I mean, Gunther, he's not a great champion. He's a decent champion. Like,
yeah,
the guy puts on great matches. That's why I'm saying he's a decent champion. It's just that when it comes to him doing storylines with Sheamus and all that, there's barely any promo talk. There's barely anything. Like, there's barely anything on why they're fighting. They're not, like, really giving the belt, like, saying that, oh, I'm going to take this belt off of you because it's so important to me and this and that. Like, they're not really doing all that. So that's why I say he's a decent champion.
Yeah.
At least the Honky Tonk Man's feuds were compelling. Like what he had with Macho Man, Ricky Savage, Ricky the...
I mean, I think Gunther, if WWE is being invested in him, they have to make the Intercontinental Champion very important, and they got to make him important too. Like you say, pull promos, put stories on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're messing it up when they are just thinking how many days he has the belt. And I think that's already getting a little tired right now. Where champions are counting, oh, you got the belt for 60 days, you had it for 200 days, you had it for 300 days. Make the belts mean something instead of counting it. You know, at least Roman has a story, you know?
Yes, and that's how storylines work. You do it by telling promos, by talking, why you're feuding, what's the beef about.
Yeah.
And that's what Brian doesn't get. He's saying that promos shouldn't. It doesn't always help. Does not make storylines. It does a lot. When The Rock and Stone Cold were feuding, they were talking shit to each other and why they were feuding. That drew attention. If you just have guys attacking each other for no reason, it's honestly a boring feud. Like, I'm not really enjoying this Cody Rhodes and Brock feud because Brock never explained why he attacked Cody.
Yeah. And then, if you want to go back to the WWF days,
bro,
you would have Hogan and Macho Man pulling promos when the Mega Powers exploded. So how can you say that the match sucks without a promo? Do you remember WrestleMania 5? Hogan and Macho Man had some good promos.
I even gave him that example, but he keeps saying that the fans just love Hogan. But, like, bro, fans just didn't love Hogan. They loved him because of his promos and how the way he got over with the audience and how his storylines and all that were compelling. Yeah,
and how about the feud with Rick Rude and Jake the Snake?
Promo.
Jake the Snake is the #1 promo guy, you know?
Yeah.
You saw how he got on Cody.
And it's just like with Honky Tonk Man and Jake the Snake Roberts at WrestleMania 3. It was kind of like how Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan were feuding at WrestleMania 3. It was kind of like how Ricky Steamboat and what's his name, Randy Savage were feuding at WrestleMania 3.
Yeah.
And it was also with what else? Well, there's so many examples you can give them. Even with Bret Hart and Roddy Piper, their Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania 8 or 7, one of those. No, it was WrestleMania 8. It was WrestleMania.
And then let's talk about the 10 years of the feuds that John Cena had with his opponents pulling promos. How about that?
Makes storylines, and he's saying that promos don't need to happen in storylines, which I definitely disagree with that. I definitely disagree too. With that. That is, I can't believe he said that. I thought he knew better than that.
Yeah.
And
that's why you have promos.
And you remember the Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns feud? You see how Cody Rhodes got the #1 spot and Cody was getting on his ass on SmackDown. The promo that he put on where he got on Cody's ass about have you ever won this? Have you ever main event WrestleMania? You try to get over in another company, you walked away, you did all these things and you walked away. All that hyped up the match.
Yeah.
If Roman and Cody didn't do that, the match won't be hyped up.
Yeah. You need the promos. You cannot deduct promos out of it.
You cannot deduct promos. I mean, and there's a difference between storylines and in-ring matches. That's another thing he doesn't get.
Yeah.
How two guys fighting in the ring telling a story? How's that fighting in the ring? How's that telling a story?
Yeah.
Like, I don't
it's
get
not
that.
A story, yeah.
Like, it's fighting in the ring for no reason. If you're just going out there with no background or no reason why you guys are fighting, you're just opponents against each other. Is that good storytelling?
Yeah.
Is it?
Because, yeah, it's like, you're like, because right now, Seth Rollins and the Judgment Day, there's a seed getting planted between them.
Yeah, but...
And then they Priest and the Judgment Day are going to plant their little story for you. It's getting to that level, you know.
Yeah.
But when it comes to storylines, like you said, you have to plant the seeds to begin a story, you know.
Yes, and yeah, bro, like that's what it is, and yeah, man, you're gonna need story. You're gonna need promos in your storylines. You're gonna explain. You need to explain why this whole feud just started, and yeah, man, like how can you go through a storyline with no promos at all?
And if you cannot pull a promo, then you have a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman is one of the perfect examples that's a mouthpiece as a manager.
I mean,
if Roman can't seem he can pull promos, then you got Paul right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I feel like Roman Reigns can most of the time not let Paul talk. I could just like Roman Reigns could have. I mean, I don't mind Paul always being his manager, but I feel like Roman Reigns can actually talk a lot without Paul.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the point of the managers, if you have read or noticed, they normally want to manage talents that cannot pull promos.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's one example. Bobby Lashley couldn't pull a promo. That's why you have MVP being a mouthpiece. Or Jack Swagger couldn't pull a promo, is why you had Sepp Coulter being that mouthpiece for this guy. Or Selena Vega with El Idolo.
Yeah.
He couldn't pull a promo because he's very non-speaking English. So that's why you had Selena Vega being a mouthpiece for, you know, El Idolo.
Yeah, and you also, and like you mentioned about managers not wanting to somebody that can cut a promo. Look at Ravishing Rick Rude. Bobby Heenan said in an interview that the least guy that he ever managed, his least favorite guy to manage was Ravishing Rick Rude because he knew that Rick Rude didn't need him.
Yeah.
Rick Rude
was very charismatic, and he knew how to pull promos with or without a manager.
Yeah.
But I feel his management run in WWE, I just felt like it was too forced for him to have a manager, which he probably didn't need it, you know.
Yeah.
And think about it. He left the company and went to WCW at that same day.
Yep.
And that was the time where no compete clause didn't even exist, you know.
And the only reason why the no complete clause started was thanks a lot, Lex Luger.
Yeah. It's like from Rick Rude leaving Raw to Nitro at that same night. Can you think about that?
Wow. That was you know, shocking. Like, how could anybody do that? Like, I don't think that's ever been. I don't think that will ever happen again.
Oh no. I mean, if you're talking about two events in one destination, probably 30 minutes from each other or an hour away from each other,
yeah,
it could be possible. But I don't think that something like that's not gonna repeat itself. Yeah. It's almost like when you want to do WrestleMania. You're not going to do WrestleMania like you did WrestleMania 2. Remember, WrestleMania 2 was held at 3 locations in one night.
Yes, it was.
In New York, Chicago, and LA, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anything like that's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
Having WrestleMania 3 locations in one night, you know.
Yeah, I don't think that's really going to happen either, but... And I hope it doesn't, because... that WrestleMania was horrible.
But the thing is, how you think they pulled it off to just put it in 3 locations? You know what I mean?
Yes, they did. Yep. And what else do I wanted to get into? I wanted to get into some baseball. Well, the Marlins are on a roll recently, and I saw your Angels beat the Mariners, Seattle.
Yeah, we're five days straight. I mean, 5 wins in a row. Yeah. And your question to the baseball, Miguel, who you think it would be your biggest concern right now in the division right now that you might think that you might see in the playoffs besides regular season?
Atlanta Braves is a big threat to us. I mean, Atlanta is #1 in our division, and they came on our home field earlier in the season. They really kicked our ass.
Wow.
They beat us 4
Is it because of right now? Do they have some pretty top talents that they have not reassigned free agency? You think from the Braves that you know of?
Man, they got a lot of guys, bro. They got Ronald Acuna, they got Ozzy Albies, they got Matt Olson, they got all these guys, bro. And these guys are all stars, and they just won the World Series not too long ago. And
yeah, I remember that one.
And Marcell Ozuna and these guys, and Michael Harris II, these guys are good. And they're #1 in my division for the Marlins. And they, bro, they really kicked our ass, bro. I literally remember that they beat us 15 to 3 one time. I think they beat us one time really badly this season. Like, bro, we could not buy a bat that game, and I was getting super mad because we were losing, and yeah. So that was so they're a threat in our division. And you guys, I was really shocked when we swept you guys in LA.
Oh yeah. Well, I think after a week later in that, remember Chicago killed us 9-2. Because the White Sox killed us, I think, probably a week after your game. Yeah. Chicago really killed us that time, and I don't know what made them come back. Which, I'm not mad at it, but.
And I was watching the White Sox earlier today. They were beating us 5-1, and we came back on their ass, beat them 5-6 in the 8th and the 9th inning.
Wow. Like, that can be lots of unpredictability there.
Yeah, it is. And, bro, what you call Jorge Soler from the Marlins made 2 home runs to get back made 2 home runs in the game.
Yeah.
And then Garrett Cooper makes a home run. Then Gene Segura makes a home run. 3 of our guys. We made 4 home runs today. It was 2 from Jorge Soler, 1 from Gene Segura, and 1 from Garrett Cooper. And then we had 2 guys on base. We had John Birdie and Jonathan Davis. Jonathan was on second base and first base. And John Birdie was on first base. So Brian De La Cruz made a good hit, and those guys could run fast. So 2 of those guys scored. That's how we tied the game. And then in the last round, I think that's how we got up in the game, by John Birdie scoring the last run. And then in the last inning, they had a chance to win, and then they blew it. So they were beating us 5-1. And we came back on their ass. So we beat them twice, and they beat us last Friday. We beat them Saturday and we beat them Saturday and today. So it was a good win by the Marlins. And are you guys gonna still play the Seattle?
Yeah, I think we got them for the next game. Yeah, so got a TV update. Here's another question for you. Tomorrow, still the NBA Finals. Do you predict anything from tomorrow's game? I really don't think it can go 5 games. And I don't think people are forgetting that when it came to Miami, I've been seeing that Miami has been getting back at these games and taking out top teams, man. So I just have a feeling that I wouldn't be out of the woods if I'm Miami. I just feel like there's a sneaky part that Miami knows how to come back on these NBA Finals. What do you think?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I honestly believe that we could have we should have won. I wish we could have won the last game. It's just that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just that, bro. Denver's a really good team. Like, they have bigs. Miami doesn't. That's the thing. And I've been saying this for a long time now, that the Heat does not have a great center. Bam Adebayo, he's a good center, but he's too short. Like, he shouldn't be playing center. He should be playing power forward. And
yeah,
what you call, bro? Like, these guys are too good, bro. Like, they have a good point guard, they have a good center, and the two most important positions in basketball is point guard and center. And
yeah,
the point guard is like a quarterback on the football team.
Yeah,
he makes the plays. And yeah, so the thing is about the Heat, bro. The West has always been tough, right?
Yeah.
The Western Conference has always been tougher than the East.
Very competitive, yeah.
Yeah, and what you call, bro, is just these guys are just too good. Like, but I respect,
and honestly,
but I respect
you do bring a point, because at the same time it is a threat because they swept the Lakers. You know.
Yeah.
Honestly, that it made poor Brian very silent, you know, about how much Denver was gonna sweep him out. I mean, thank God they didn't sweep him in Kobe's presence, you know.
Well, he did say that the Lakers were gonna beat Denver, but I knew they weren't gonna beat Denver. And wait, but was LeBron?
I didn't expect the team.
Was LeBron 100% during that series, or Anthony Davis, was one of them 100%?
None of them are. I mean,
oh, maybe that's why.
I hate to put it on record, but I just feel like LeBron and Davis. It's like, I mean, I don't have to be a Laker fan to tell you this, but I've been observing, dude. They have been very, the word how we say, injury prone.
Yeah,
you know?
They have, and LeBron is getting older, and Anthony Davis. I don't know how. I mean, he still has a couple years in him. He just needs to learn how to stay healthy. Yeah. And
but the injuries are really killing them. You know that.
Yeah, and he says that they're gonna win a championship again someday, which I don't think so, because those guys keep getting injured.
Yeah, and I tell people, I don't have to be a Laker fan to tell you. I mean, I'm a fucking basketball fan, and I see what I see, you know? I can say good or bad things about my team or the opposing team. It's the sport, people. You gotta pay attention to that, you know? Mm-hmm. Otherwise, Miguel, you and I have to give these people spilled milk.
Yes, we do. That was a good one. So, yeah, and then...
That was a funny topic, everybody.
Yes, it
I'll
was.
never forget our 23-3 funny topic, spilt milk.
Yes, it was. And let me ask you this. Miami Heat is might try to get Damian Lillard in the offseason.
I consider it as a good move. You think so?
Hell yeah.
I mean, if you guys desperately need it.
Because, you know our second best scorer, right? Tyler Hero?
Yeah, correct.
He's a great player, it's just that he gets injured, like in the playoff time. He always gets injured in playoff time. He got injured last year in playoff time. Like, the guy keeps getting injured, and I feel like he's overpaid for the Heat, number one. He's a really good player, just that, hell yeah, I'll trade him for Damian Lillard.
Yeah, because, you know, the franchise cannot risk injury prone, man. I mean, I'm sorry how much you're paying him, but you need to win a championship. That's the point of a team sport, you know. You gotta win a championship, you know.
Yeah, he's overpaid.
I don't want any commercials or donations. It's like, you know, when I used to coach my high school football team in 2001, our quarterback, our coach ended up recruiting this quarterback from Beverly Hills High.
Yes.
And, you know, good quarterback, good passing quarterback. His father became a contributor, started giving donations for the school and the team and everything. But since we started losing, like, you know, 3 games in a row, you had the coach talking to the father and told him, look, man, I appreciate the donations and all this shit, man, but I'm going to tell you something. You better tell your son to get your shit together, because I'm here to win a championship.
Wow.
Okay? Spare me the donations and everything. I just want to win a championship. Tell your son to step it up. You know? So, you know, coaches really have to, like, draw the line that way, you know?
Yeah. You know, a lot of these players want to demand so much money these days, and I feel like the players don't really care about the game. They just care about the money now.
Yeah.
And these days, NBA players, NFL players get paid higher than what they did back in the day. And one thing that I would say to some players is that if you want this max deal, you better win a championship. Then I'll give you the deal you want. But they don't do that.
Because as a coach, a championship is important, and they know they have meaning for them. Not a freaking lousy check like Tony Khan and Vince McMahon are gonna do, you know.
Yeah. I said you ain't getting nothing until you win a championship, boy. That's what I would tell them. And if any franchise that wants to call up and say why would you let him go, I said all right, go ahead and sign him, because why would you want to pay a guy that has not won anything with you? And I'm only
and you're paying that.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, why would you want to pay somebody a max deal that hasn't won you a championship yet?
Yeah, and then for you being the Miami Heat fan that you are, Miguel, was there a reason that Pat Riley didn't want to pay Wade as he deserved? Were there some disagreements that you saw there from between them, or what?
It's just Riley was just being selfish. Like Riley didn't want to pay him because he just didn't. But he gave it to Tyler Johnson, which was stupid. Tyler Johnson sucked ball sacks. That guy fucking was ass. Like, why would you pay Tyler Johnson over a franchise player like Dwayne Wade?
Yeah.
And it was the worst time to be a Heat fan.
Your face of the company, you know?
Yes, and it was the worst time to be a Heat fan to see Wade in a Bulls uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is ridiculous.
I don't know how you felt.
And now I do agree with you.
I don't know how you felt about it.
I think I would have felt bad. I mean, I didn't have to be a Heat fan for that.
Yeah.
But for me to know Pat Riley to perform at that position, it does sound like a very selfish move, man. You know.
Yeah, and Wade had to take pay cuts for guys to come here. That's how LeBron, Shaq, and Bosh came over here.
Yeah, it's like... Yeah, I can't blame Wade for just pulling out like that. But unfortunately, if you're like the hardcore fan that you guys are, he's still the face of the franchise. You know, he's your guy. Absolutely. It's almost like Kobe is the franchise of the Lakers, or Jordan with the Bulls, you know.
Yeah.
But if you're the boss, you know, are you going to pay him peanuts? Ridiculous, you know.
Yeah, it's very
And it don't look right. It doesn't look right.
Yeah, I know. Why, Pat?
You know, but
that's why.
But like I said, that's sports for you, and you know how that goes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I did have fun meeting the Transformers. I got the chance to meet the voice of Megatron, the voice of Starscream, Wheeljack, and finally the guy that does the Soundwave sounds in his computer eyes.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty fun moment, and you know I had the privilege to meet again Hank Barrett, that was the voice of Dial Tone. Now, I'm going to fill you in with this because this is going to be pretty interesting for you. Not only he was the voice of Dial Tone, he came out in some black and white sitcoms called The Postman, and he became a police officer called Car 54, Where Are You? Calling Car 54, Where Are You? That's the name of the program.
Yeah.
From the 40s.
Damn.
But here's the most interesting part that I do want to share with you.
Yeah.
Hank Garrett,
yeah,
was a former AWA wrestling talent, which I found out about him today, when I purchased his book.
Really?
Can you believe that?
Oh.
He worked for Gagne.
He worked for Vern Gagne.
And at that time, he was battling people like Superstar Billy Graham, Bruno Sammartino. Terry Bollea was not hired at that time yet, Sergeant Slaughter. So he was a Bert Gagne guy at that time. And he was called the Harlem Hoodlum when he was a wrestler. I'm like, wow. I go, I'm going to buy this book and I'm going to read it. I go,
wow.
So when you saw me out there posting the book in Instagram, yeah, he wrote in a book about him when he was an actor, G.I. Joe, and he was a wrestling talent working for Bert Gagne. I'm like, wow, this is interesting. I go,
Did you
more to see. I go,
you should search up his matches, see how it went.
Yeah, because, you know, right now I've been seeing all his, you know, black and white movies in the 40s. And, you know, he turned 90 years old, and he is a war veteran for World War II.
Wow.
So that's why you saw the guy in a wheelchair, and I kind of like sat down next to him because, you know, it's, you know, I told him, you know, you don't need to stand up, man. Stay in your seat, you're good, man.
Yeah.
And his wife is like the agent, you know, collecting the money, taking the pictures and everything. So they're pretty cool, you know.
Yeah.
So that was the fun I had. And May Valentine was very funny, you know. I mean, she was local, you know. And I think in May Valentine's situation, I think it's more like, you know, she's promoting her magazine, you know.
Yep. Is it what kind of magazine is it? Like a fitness magazine?
No, it's a Playboy magazine. I think this new release. I think she made a lot of money when she went to a Vegas meet and greet, you know, before Double or Nothing was put on. And I heard NWA had a match over there too as well. So, but yeah, she's just promoting the magazine, you know, besides, you know, doing NWA and all that stuff. So.
Well, she might be She might be, man. She probably would have fit back in the day in the WWE when all that was involved.
Yeah, but this is suitable for the horny idiots that, you know, that want to definitely jerk off with it. Just give it to them; they'll buy it, you know. But yeah, my next meet and greet will be with the Undisputed Era. What's his name?
Roderick Strong.
Yeah, Roderick. He'll be there on the 18th at the JWO meet and greet center. Mm-hmm. And the following week, on the 25th, I will be at the Wrestling Guy store with Mr. Kennedy. So this is going to be I will be at the Globe Wrestling on the 25th to see my girl Jasmine Allura perform against Rivera. So that's going to be a pretty good match out there. Melina is going to be the special guest hostess for that Glow event, you know.
That's cool. Melina.
So it's going to be some pretty good, you know, independent women talents out there that are going to perform. And that place is like about 10 minutes away from my house. So I already got the ticket, and I got a good, you know, best seat in the house. I can see Jasmine there. I don't think she has any idea that I'm going to make the appearance, but I'm just going to see by surprise. I'm not going to, like, tag or advertise anything. I'm just going to be there unannounced, you know.
Have fun.
So that's going to be a pretty good area. And we'll see if Mr. Kennedy will give him the mic check, you know.
The mic check.
Oh, yeah. And then yesterday, I had a meet and greet to meet, you know, not only Victoria, but these other two women talents were former Glow wrestlers, women talents. Mm-hmm. Little Egypt and Miss Hawaiian. They were pretty cool young talents in the past, you know. Now they're OGs, you know.
Yeah, I've never watched any Glow wrestling shows before. I've never really paid attention to it at all.
Yeah. I think the only reason why they're there is because now they're being, you know, trainers and agents for the Wow Women's of Wrestling, you know, along with AJ Lee and everything.
Yeah.
So it seems like they've been hired, you know, to see if they can be backstage, you know, enhancement, you know. So they say they're using them for that, you know, like training, bookers, experience, or writers.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. I mean, you need veteran staff to, you know, lead these women, you know, for future wise, you know, or trust, or for the experience, you know.
Yeah.
But it was cool meeting them. I mean, I would say consider them like nostalgics for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like Trish is out there saying that she's not a nostalgic act. I mean, I'm sorry, Trish, but you suck as a babyface, man. I mean, as a heel. Excuse me. Heel doesn't go with her.
You think she sucks as a heel?
No, it doesn't work. I think she needs to spice up the heel a bit, you know.
Well, I guess these days, but back in the day, she was actually a pretty damn good heel.
Oh yeah, with TNA, yeah. I think definitely.
Well, remember in the Ruthless Aggression era, she betrayed Jericho? She was a good heel at that time.
Oh yeah, that was good. And went to Christian Cage instead.
And remember her feud with Victoria over the women's title when she was a heel?
Oh yeah, they had some pretty good feuds too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about. Well, probably these days I would agree with you, but back in the overall as a heel, nah, she's not terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. But you have to understand, I think, for Trish to come back to WWE, that's normally a Vince McMahon idea. You know, that's how I would think of it. I mean, if Trish was going to come here for, if Trish was going to come here for occasions is one thing, but I just feel like WWE doesn't have anything for them. But right now they do, because now she's, mentoring this young talent. Let's see how that works out,
And now they're pairing her up with Zoe Stark. I wonder how that's going to work.
Yeah. I'm looking forward how much of a mouthpiece and mentor Trish can be with her and how much it benefits it,
Yeah.
If I'm Becky Lynch, I would step up and move forward to a championship run and spice up your promos and things like that, because this feud with her and Trish, it's very unwatchable and it's not my cup of tea anymore, dude.
Yeah, well, I was never a fan of Becky, so yeah, yeah, bro, and this is probably the last time we're ever gonna see Trish Stratus. I think this is the very last run from Trish Stratus.
Yeah. Yeah, they really need to make some change.
In 2007 or 6-ish, somewhere around that time. I wish she never retired at around that time. I wish she stuck around longer, but I wonder how her relationship is with Vince, because Vince made her do some awful thing, made her do that one awful thing about making her bark like a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The woof woof.
Yeah, that was fucked up. Ah, damn it, my stream stopped.